Good evening, Sretan Petak, happy Friday. Welcome to 5 Question Friday, live at 5 p.m. here in beautiful snow-covered Croatia, at least where I am. We are snow-covered, and it's been a beautiful day today. It's like the snowflakes that have been falling have been huge. They're like these huge, beautiful snowflakes, and everything's covered in snow, and it was a lovely day today. Kids playing outside, pulling their toboggans, snowballs being thrown, screams of joy and shock when a snowball hits them. So it's been lovely up here in the north. I'm pretty sure they don't have snow in Split. Welcome. Hello, everybody. I see people signing on. Hey, Kathy. Nice to see you. Sretna Nova Godina to you and to everybody joining us. This is Cam. I am Cam, your sometimes host of 5 Question Friday. This year I will be doing one series a month. So it will typically it'll be the first Friday of every month, but Sarah wanted to be here last week as the first official episode of 2025 to welcome you and to share that day with you. And I don't know if you caught it, but share her journey of driving through Croatia in like the craziest snowstorm, that they haven't seen here in forever. And like, I feel bad, like at least I come from a snowy country, but she's a Texan. So I can't even imagine how stressful it was for her driving through that storm. But yeah, so she shared the first Friday with you this month, but typically I will be the host on the first Friday of every month. So welcome. There is no snow in Slavonia. No kidding. Seriously, no snow in Slavonia. Honestly, this is like our third snowfall here. When we came a little over 2 years ago, it's like there was constant snow, which was actually kind of funny because when I was asking my friend Mariana on the cello, I was like, hey, like, should I bring like our Canadian winter jackets? And she's like, no, we haven't had snow here in forever. Like the winters aren't that bad. And then like it was snowing so much that I had to go and get them like heavier winter jackets. It was pretty funny. But last year there wasn't much. And then this year it was great. Like I feel like we actually had more Christmassy weather for Easter than we did for Christmas. But this snow has been really nice. The fact that we had it over the Blagdani, over the holidays, was really special. And so I'm glad the kids are back at school and they're enjoying the snow and the sleet. It feels very, very Canadian and I'm enjoying it. I'm also enjoying it from inside. It's not like I am going out and doing winter activities. It's not my jam anymore. So yeah, but the kids are definitely enjoying it. So welcome to those who sort of are popping in. It's me, Cam. This is 5 Question Friday. Every Friday, as many of you know, and if you don't know, you're going to find out now, we come at you live from Croatia at 5 p.m. Croatian time, answering 5 questions submitted by you guys, our watchers, our fans, our followers. Through the website, we have a 5 Question Friday form, through mine and Sarah's consulting sessions, through Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Like no matter how you submit a question, it's going to get on our list and at some point it will be answered. And so we will be tackling 5 of those questions today. I haven't seen you in so long. Ooh, I see Tamara, one of my colleagues here. Hey, Tamara. I've got some notes here about what I wanted to update you on. So the first thing, and maybe you saw that I posted a story, is that on December 29th, there was the presidential elections in Croatia. And it was my first time participating in presidential elections here. And so a very proud moment for me as a member of the diaspora living here. I went to my local polling station and filled out the form and took a photo of myself putting it in there. I think participating in the right to vote is so important. And so I did that, and I gotta go again on Sunday because we have our second round of voting taking place on Sunday. So I got my little notification from e-Građani, and I will be back at the polling station on Sunday. And I hope if you are here and a Croatian citizen that you will do the same, because I gotta say I'm not impressed with the voter turnout in this country. What else? Well, December 29th was also my birthday. So I had a fun time celebrating with, it was a really cool part. We had our first house party, because we just, in the summer, we moved into our home. I'm coming at you live from my office, because it's dark outside and we still can't film outdoors. Had my first birthday party. We hosted our first party here, and, it was amazing because it was a mix of our Canadian Croatian friends and our Selo friends and family. And so it was it was such a great night, and we had so much fun, and our guests told us that they had lots of fun. So mixing in some Canadian traditions and some Croatian traditions, but tambura music all night, all the way, just so that we're clear. Anyone who knows me knows it's all tambura all the time. So it was really great. Thank you. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate that. I love celebrating birthdays, not just my own, but everybody's. It's a great excuse for a party. I mean, hello, celebrating you. Always celebrate your birthday. My mom celebrated her birthday yesterday. So happy birthday to my mom, actually 2 days ago. But yesterday, my aunt and I took her for a surprise concert at Vatroslav Lisinski Dvorana in Zagreb to go see the Beatles bootleg show. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Okay, first of all, the hall was packed. It was sold out. But we had great seats because my aunt bought them like back in September when they went on sale. So we had really good seats. We were 5th row center, and it was a really wonderful show. This is so I've been to lots of concerts in Croatia over the years. But recently I've been to a couple of like concerts and performances that are not of Croatian, like not Croatian pop stars or music stars or traditional tambura concerts. I went to go see Sting last year at Arena Center. So it was my first time at Arena Center. And then I saw the Beatles bootleg show last night at Lisinski. And I gotta say, as amazing as the shows were, what I loved even more was the spirit of the Croatians at a concert. And I guess I have always lived this, in the tambura performances and all of this, like that feeling is there, but I've never experienced it in an English-speaking environment. And Croatians, Hrvati, are incredible audience goers. Like they give so much. The feeling like that comes from the audience, I can't even imagine being the performers on stage and feeling that, but there's really something special about the Croatian audience. I don't know if anyone has ever experienced this or if you can kind of wrap your brain around what I'm saying, if it's making any sense to you, but I felt it at the Sting show, which it felt very, very intimate, and I'm sure Sting was part of that, but I think also the audience is a part of making a show feel very intimate, despite the fact that there are so many people in the audience. So it was really cool. We're actually going back tonight to Vatroslav Lisinski to go see the Hans Zimmer movie orchestra thing. My kids are really into movies like Pirates of the Caribbean and Interstellar. And I mean, there's so many great movies whose soundtracks were made by Hans Zimmer. So it's him and some other composers, but a whole huge orchestra. So very, very excited to go see that tonight. The Running Nomad, is it in Zagreb? Yes, it's at the Vatroslav Lisinski Dvorana. There are actually still tickets left if you're interested, if you're around. My son went to go see a show with an orchestra with this school a few months ago, and like, man, anything you see in Lisinski is amazing. The sound is great. The stage is down low. So it's a great atmosphere, especially when there's an orchestra of some sort. I have had the opportunity to perform in Lisinski 2 times. Once just after the war when I came with my folklore group from Canada, Sleme, and many of you, if you're tuning in from the GTA might remember that tour. And the second time was last year for the Croatian Fraternal Union, for the CFU Festival, Tamburica Festival, which took place last year in Zagreb. And I performed with the folklore group Ljelo, which was a real special treat because I got to reconnect with my mentor Željko Jergan, and it was a great experience. So I'm very excited to go 2 nights in a row to Lisinski and to watch these incredible shows. What else? I'm checking my notes. Oh, I went to Graz. What a cool city, town. I think it's a city. Graz was beautiful. It was absolutely gorgeous. We ended up being there on Monday, or was it Sunday? Sunday. We were on Sunday, so a lot of stuff was closed, but we were able to go see some pretty cool sights. Highly recommend. We took the train, which I love traveling by train. I get car sick and I hate being on a bus. I feel like really claustrophobic on a bus. I see my cousin Ivana here. Hi, Ivana. So took the train. I love traveling by train. I've done the long haul to Split. And so now I did Graz, which was amazing. I was supposed to head on to Prague, but I ended up getting sick and made the decision to come home. I'm still sick. I have a cough candy in my mouth, and I'm hoping I won't lose my voice before the end of this show. But it was beautiful. Highly recommend. The food was amazing. The city was gorgeous. The architecture, the attention to detail. The people were so kind that we did come across. The food was, the food was so good. So highly recommend. Excuse me. New year means new laws are in effect. If you are subscribed to our newsletter, you would have seen that the amazing Daniela and Maria sent out our Tuesday newsletter, and it had a link to all of the new laws going into effect for 2025. If you missed it, yes, I can send you the link. Send us a DM and I will make sure that you get it. But so that you don't miss out on anything else in the future, you should 100% sign up for the newsletter because it's amazing. Only comes out once every Tuesday and once a week, once every Tuesday. That sounded funny. It comes out once a week. It's not overwhelming. It's filled with just the right amount of information. I look forward to it every week and I work here. I think Maria and Daniela do an absolutely incredible job with it. And yeah, when there's something new in the news, we are sharing it with you guys. So it's a great way for Diaspora to stay connected to Croatia. So highly recommend. If you want the link to subscribe, also shoot me a DM and I will be happy to send you that link. We're slowly getting back into the office, so I'm very much looking forward to all of the consulting sessions that I have. I know Sarah is looking forward to connecting with everyone again as well. And yeah, it's a new year. Once more, Happy New Year. Welcome to 5 Question Friday. Let's dive right in. All right. So the first question tonight comes from Grace via Instagram. And Grace asks, could you point me toward any information on community gardens? There's a huge empty lot in Vrapče, just begging for a community garden. Thank you. Vrapče is in the city of Zagreb. So we looked into this for you because community gardens are not a super popular thing here. So Daniela, my colleague, did a little bit of digging to find out. And it turns out that the city of Zagreb does have several initiatives for a Gradski vrt, which is a city garden, or a community garden rather. And they did have a public call recently. The last one was in May of 2004. And the public calls happen and last for 2 years. So it sounds like the next public call is going to happen in May of 2026. So if you're interested in turning a plot of land into a community garden or joining one, we recommend that you contact the city of Zagreb directly to do that, or if you're not in a rush, you wait for the next public call in May of 2026. So if anyone wants some information, we have the link for the municipality, for the website, so that you can contact them and find out more about this. We also have a guide on the culture of gardening in Croatia, you know, the common vegetables, the common herbs and things like that. So if you don't know the drill already, if you're watching this replay on YouTube, we have all the links below for the guides that we refer to during the show. However, if you're watching live or if you're catching this later on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, feel free to shoot us a DM. It's usually me who's checking those messages, and so I'll be happy to send you the link. And Grace, thank you for the question. Next, this question is from Mary. Also came through in one of my fantastic conversations that I have with people on the DMs. I love talking to you all. It's such a pleasure to learn about you and to have conversations. So many of us chatted about the Croatian desserts over the Christmas holidays. It was awesome. So many of you sent me photos. It was great. Mary's question, will the HŽPP, so the Hrvatska željeznica, the railway, the Croatian railway, continue to offer free train tickets to seniors? So let me give you a little bit of a background on this. First of all, Mary, the answer is yes, they will. It took us a little bit of time to find that, because when we reached out originally, they didn't have the answer, and they recently released this right in the new year. But what they did was through, I guess it was a grant or a pilot project through the Croatian government to offer free rail transport to pensioners or anybody over the age of 65. And they made it pretty simple. You just had to go to the station, you had to purchase a smart card, and there was a fee of €2.65. And then with that card, you could travel for the rest of the year. And I did a little bit of digging into the stats, because we had found out that they did, in fact, renew this program for 2025. And here's a cool number. So prior to the start of this initiative, they had their passengers that were 65 and over, they had them numbered the year before at about 83,000 people traveling. With the initiative, they increased the number of seniors and pensioners over the age of 65 traveling on the Croatian train system to 177,000. Which I think is amazing. I think especially, you know, there is a huge aging population in Croatia, and, you know, when you're older, access to other people, access to events, getting into the city, I mean, this is the way to stay connected and stay healthy and stay young and help your mental health. And so it was really heartwarming to see those stats, and I was very glad to see that they extended the initiative to 2025. The price, the fee will remain the same. So you just go. If you already had it for 2024, you take your card with you and your documents, and they'll just renew it after you pay the fee. If it's your first time, take your IDs with you, go to the željeznica, to the station, and fill out the paperwork, and then you get this smart card. Cool fact, they're extending it to all students. So for example, you know, we went on New Year's Eve with the kids, and I paid the student rate for the train ride from Jaska to Zagreb. And that was actually when I found out that they had extended the initiative, because the what do they call the person who works on the train? It's not the conductor, but I don't know the word, guys. But anyways, the woman who is checking for our tickets, she informed me that that for 2025, all students have the right to this smart card pass, and it's the same thing. You go with their ID, and you pay that €265 fee, and then they get the smart card, and they travel all year. Okay, Katie, if you are a student of a Croatian language school like Croaticum, are you considered a student? You know what? That's a really great question, because they already had like student passes. So honestly, I think it's worth going to the railroad station and asking, right? I think it's 100% worth asking. They might say no, or they might say you can't access this, but you can at least access the discounted student rate. I mean, it's already really affordable to travel by train, but saving a couple of euro is always welcome, because guess what? A couple of euro is that cup of coffee. And we all know how important coffee culture is in Croatia. So thank you, Mary, for that question. I was really excited to learn that they extended it, and I've shared it with all of my family and friends, so everybody knows I'm shouting it through the rooftops. We have a guide. Of course we have a guide. We have a guide about train travel in Croatia. So you can check that out below if you're watching on YouTube, or send us a DM and I can send you the link. I've also got the link to the information about it through the Zagorje website. They had an updated article and an interview with I guess whoever's doing PR for the railroad, with some further information about the program. Cool. We are just rolling along today. I've got pretty short questions today, but you know, I took up some of your time at the beginning and shared some personal stuff with you, so made up for it. Question 3 this evening comes from Maria from one of our consulting sessions, and Maria asked, does the application for citizenship by descent have to be filled out in Croatian? So if you've taken the time to look at all of the application forms from MUP, which I'm pretty certain you haven't, because why would you? But for example, there are some that are in English. Oh, another colleague. Hey, Lorena. Oh, I've got so many colleagues that jumped on today. It's so nice I miss you guys. I'm excited to get back to work and our regular weekly meetings. Okay, back to the question. So if you look at a bunch of the different forms, they're in English, but the form, or English and Croatian, but the form for citizenship by descent is in Croatian only. And so yes, the answer when you fill out the application for citizenship by descent, it does have to be in Croatian as well. Great question. Never thought of that. So great to get an answer for y'all. We've got guides on citizenship, in case you didn't know. So if you'd like those guides, you send us a DM and we'll send them to you. We've obviously got them for citizenship by descent, but we've got guides based on various avenues to apply for citizenship. So if you share your scenario, I'm happy to send you the guide that applies to your specific situation. All right. Well, this brings us to the diaspora tip of the week. If you haven't seen one of the episodes where I've hosted, I sort of, write a monologue. I don't know what else to call it, because I read it, because I plan it and I read what I planned to say. Because if I don't read it, then I go all over the place. So I figure if I want to specifically send a message, I write it. And this week, it's called the diaspora tip of the week, in case you didn't know. And this one I specifically wrote for those of you thinking of moving here, because I know there's a lot of you, because I talk to so many members of the diaspora who are have either already made the decision to come here, to come back, or are thinking about it very, very seriously, or have just gotten here. And I'm always really excited, because I feel like we have a bond. It's this built-in bond, and I've actually had the opportunity to befriend some of you who have come back, because we've just got this connection, because we grew up in the diaspora and felt this connection to Croatia, and came back. So yeah, and I sort of wrote this in light of the fact that there is a new law offering a tax break for returning diaspora. So as people explore that, I thought this would be a good topic. So as Croatia begins to offer more incentives for returning diaspora, I thought I would go over some points for those of you considering the move. Moving to Croatia as a member of the diaspora is more than just a change of address. It's a journey of rediscovery, of connection. walking through the same streets that your ancestors walked through, hearing the familiar rhythm of the language that if you're lucky enough, you heard throughout your life. There's a richness here that is hard to put into words. The beauty of this country, the sense of deep history, of culture, of pride, and a place that places family and community at its core. These are really, really magical things that Croatia offers. But let's be honest, while Croatia can feel like home in our hearts, the practical side of moving requires some preparation, right? Spending time here before making the leap is important. I think exploring different regions, exploring local life, and seeing what truly fits your family and your family's needs. Renting before buying also gives you the flexibility to test the waters out without rushing to a big commitment to a specific area. Building a network is going to be essential, when you do get here. Attending local events, joining community events, and getting to know your neighbors. Croatians value relationships, and these connections can be a bridge between feeling like a visitor and truly belonging to the neighborhood or the village or the kvart where you are. If you are eligible for dual citizenship, take advantage of it. It can really simplify everything from residence to owning property to accessing healthcare, to traveling. Speaking of settling in, if you have kids, dive into researching schools, whether it's the local system or international options. Education here is solid, and finding the right fit will help your family adjust. And don't forget the finer details like understanding taxes, especially if you have assets or income from abroad. It's better to navigate these complexities head on rather than, getting surprised with things later. There can be challenges, of course, like language. Even though I came here with a really, really good language base, it was still challenging navigating the bureaucratic systems, with my everyday Croatian without my kind of next level professionalism Croatian. But barriers that you might hit, they're surmountable, and what you need is patience and persistence, really, truly. The rewards, there are so many rewards. The Mediterranean lifestyle, if you're on the coast, but even the northern lifestyle, I love it. Either embrace family meals, a slower pace, a safer environment for raising children, and the chance to be a part of Croatia's evolving story. This isn't just a move that you are making or might make or have made. It's a chance to reconnect with your roots, contribute to the future of a country, and create a life filled with both familiarity, but also new opportunities. Croatia's waiting, and it's ready to welcome you home, because that's how I feel. So I hope that is your experience too. So there is my diaspora tip of the week. I should call it the diaspora monologue of the week. I'm going to have to remember, for any of my I don't know how cultural, SNLs, what were they called? Oh my gosh. Oh, it was on the tip of my tongue. Deep Thoughts on SNL. That was a really popular little segment when I was in my teens. I'm definitely aging myself. But yeah, deep diaspora thoughts with Cam. That's kind of what I think that this might be rather than tips. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. All right, moving along here. This question came to us from Zdenka on Instagram, and she asked, are there any cultural exchange programs between Croatia and Australia? Thank you for the question, Zdenka. Unfortunately, we couldn't find any programs for you. So unfortunately, the answer might not be no, but we couldn't find anything specific. So for Croatians in Australia, there are institutions where you can learn, where you can join Croatian community, cultural, language sort of events or programs. And I've got that link if anybody else from Australia is interested. It's through the Hrvati izvan Hrvatske website and program. So if you want, the website off the top is Hrvati izvan rh Croats abroad. So you can Google, but you can also shoot me a DM and I can send you the link and the details. What we've also got is a guide for how Australians can come to Croatia. So I can send that to you as well if you'd like some further information. A great cultural program is coming to Croatia. A lot of people sort of make their own thing and they come by doing a language course, which I've done the one at Croaticum, and I know a lot of other people who have done it, and they really, really do like a cultural immersion aspect. You take tours of the city and you go to museums, and so they sort of have this built-in immersion thing that they do. So really cool. But I know Zdenka, that's not what you were specifically asking about, and so yeah, we were not able to find anything. Thank you for the question, though. All right, we're on to the last question of our Friday evening. And this one comes to us also from Megan on Instagram. And this was for me. I love when you guys send me questions for me. I love thinking on my experience and on my family's experience and putting those thoughts together for you. And so Megan asked, do you have any advice for making friends in Croatia? Why, yes, I do. But before I go into that, I want to give a shout out to the people who are my friends here. Guys, I have some amazing, amazing friends here. People who have been integral in not just my experience, but my family's, my children's. Leaving your family and your closest friends behind is tough, but it's a little bit easier when you forge friendships with people here who fill your heart and and love you and your family to pieces. So I want to give a shout out to my friends here, especially in the Selo, who have done an amazing job of hugging us and bringing us into their circles. So here are like some practical tips. Okay. Leverage your language skills. However good or not good they are. I've had other friends who've come here or cousins who don't feel comfortable speaking for whatever reason. I never felt that way though in terms of speaking Croatian. Like, listen, like over the years, my grammar has been shit. There's no other word for it but shit. Like, especially when I don't speak it for a long time. And then like my dad, my mom, both of my parents spoke Croatian in the house, but like my dad was hardcore. And after he passed away, which was like 15 years ago, more than 15 years ago, that was a little less Croatian in the house. And then after my baka died, that was a little as people passed, there was a little bit less Croatian in the house. So I'd come here and my grammar would be horrible. But I'm not a shy person. Can you tell? And so I didn't have a problem speaking the language. And the one thing I did was I told people, please correct me, because I never learned the language. For me, it's like I have to hear that it's right. And so if I keep saying it the same way and no one tells me that it's wrong, then I'll never fix it. And so I was really adamant about, just correct me. Like, don't worry, I'll pop back into the part of the conversation that we were in. It's not going to interrupt my train of thought, but I will re-say that sentence with the proper grammar and I'm going to learn. It's going to compute and it's going to stay somewhere in a file in the back of my head. And I think my friends appreciated the fact that I worked, like now they tell me, they're like, oh my God, Carol Ann, like, your grammar now is so good. They're like, we barely correct you anymore. And they're really proud of that too. And they're so happy that they were a part of my language learning journey, among other things. So leverage your language skills, no matter how good or bad you perceive them to be. Croatians are really, really, they love when you speak the language. And honestly, like they're very open. Sometimes it's hard for me to express myself in Croatian. Oh, hello, CLS. Sometimes it's hard for me to express myself in Croatian. And so, they give me the space to express myself in English sometimes too. And I love that. So don't be afraid, because when you are communicating with Hrvati po hrvatski, when you're communicating with Croatians in Croatian, It opens you up to a whole other level of life and connection and interaction. So that's my tip number one. Leverage your language skills. If you have family here, reconnect with them. So I gotta say, there's a very big difference between coming every, year, 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it was a long haul there over COVID. You obviously have a routine with that. Like for me, it's like I'd always go to my dad's family. I'd go for a visit. I'd sleep over. I have my family here on the village. But I wasn't a part of their everyday life. And so after that not being a thing, it took me a little bit I thought it would just kind of happen. But I realized that I had to put in a little bit of effort and also figure out like, what was it that I was looking for from my family? And I didn't find it the first year. I didn't quite know how to navigate that. Obviously, I saw them and they're here. They're very close and I love them. For me, what it was the traditions tied to food in our village. So, with my cousin, so this is, I don't have any first cousins on my mom's side. But I have second cousins who are my first cousins in my heart. And so it's our grandmas are sisters. And so it's my grandmother's sister's house and her descendants. So my cousin and I, we didn't take over because my aunt is still the matriarch of all of this, but we really initiated the zimnica. So preparing the pickles, doing the plum jam. I made apple butter with the apples, but ajvar, all of the things, the paprika, everything. I realized that this is something that I really want to participate in. This is something that's very important to me. And so that's how I sort of reconnected in a really beautiful way with my family, because when you're doing things like that, you're working with your hands, you're sitting around a table, you're listening to them talk, you're learning about your family and about their daily lives in a very different way. And then in the winter, I did kolinje, the pigs with also my cousin from the same house. And we prepared everybody's svinjetina, everybody's pig meat. So that it's so silly, but that's how I reconnected with my family in a very real daily life survival kind of way. And it has brought us significantly closer. And so find that thing that's important. Maybe for you, it's how do we, get together for Christmas and Easter? Like people have their traditions already. Their homes are full, maybe you want to host something at your house. I don't know, but definitely identify what parts of reconnecting with your family are important and which family members you want to further that connection with and make them a part of your daily lives or your important traditions here in Croatia. Attend community events is my next tip for you, Megan, and for anybody else. Listen, Croatian culture is rich. I mean, Croatians love music. They love art. They love theater in a totally different way than I experienced in Toronto. Obviously the scene is there, but it feels so different here. And you can find so much stuff here. And so whether it's very grassroots, and you just want to be like an audience member, you can do that. If you're a participator, do it. You meet so many incredible people who obviously have the same interests as you. For example, joining a choir, whether it's a church choir or an amateur choir or a professional choir. Who knows? I don't know what kind of skills you have. Volunteer firefighters. So in rural areas, they have the volunteer firefighters in every village. When I came here to go to school, I was a part of the girls' volunteer firefighter team. It was really cool. I am not now. I'm in no shape to do that kind of work, but it's a really, really cool društvo. I don't know how to say the word društvo now in English, community, I guess. But this volunteer firefighters, they have competitions through the year and banquets and all kinds of stuff. It's really cool. Then you can do things with my friends from the village, my girlfriends, we go to paint and wine nights, which is not very culturally Croatian, but it's a great night with a bunch of amazing women. And so we go, we get our glass of wine, and there's usually, some cold cuts or cheeses or whatever, and we have a great night. So I find events like that really wonderful. When it was Dani Vina and Jaska, we got to paint our own wine glasses, which was also really cool. So I love doing stuff with my hands. Then Croatia is very, very, especially again in the rural areas, very tied to their church community. In Canada, I lived really far from our church. We didn't go very often. And so we have like a WhatsApp group for our church. And it's like helpers of the church. So not this Christmas, but the Christmas before, I volunteered to help do the wreath for like the Advent wreath from the outside of our church. I really love that. I got to meet and work alongside some people in the village that I really didn't know very well until that point, and got to connect with them and meet them. And we helped do things around the church here and there. What else? Join a folklore group. Hello. That brought me a lot of joy. The kids played tambura. I love going to folklore concerts. So participating in something like that is really exciting, even if it's your first time doing it. I think a lot of adults are afraid to start something new because they're adults and they're not children, but do it. You only live once. Do it. Join a sports club. That's not me, but I've put it on the list for you because that might be you. My son does the air rifle shooting, and they have an adult thing. And I took him one day and they're like, do you want to try? And I'm like, no, I would be very bad at this. But I loved the fact that, it's not like I had grown up in this club and, they were like, come, it's for the parents, for the kids who are interested. You can try it. You can see what your child loves about this. And I love that. Doing things like they have hiking clubs and all kinds of things. Don't be shy to join. Everybody here speaks enough English. Don't let language be a barrier to any of this, please. And then ask questions. Croatians are they are very community driven. They are very hospitable and welcoming and warm. But as the outsider, we have to dig a little bit more. We got to scratch them a little bit further than below the surface. So ask questions, invite people for coffee out of nowhere, just out of the blue. Send them a WhatsApp, send them a message on Facebook. Be like, hey, hoćemo na kavu. Croatians are really responding to that, and they know what that means. That means, hey, we're going to go and we're going to chat and we're going to learn a little bit more about each other that day. And they're very, very much open to that. And whenever somebody invites you for coffee, go, even if you think you don't have the time, because what you get in return for friendships here is really, really beautiful. That's that. Thank you, Megan, for the question. I really enjoyed sort of, again, putting my thoughts together on that and looking back on my experience. So I appreciate that. We've got some guides. There's a couple of ones that I love. One is called Enrich Your Life in Croatia, Get to Know Croatians, and 10 Brilliant Things You Can Say to Make a Croatian Smile. I love both of these guides and I would love to share them with you. If you want to see them, send me a DM and I will send you the links. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, as you know, if you scroll down through or below the video, you will see all of the links for all of the guides that were mentioned in today's episode. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. We're at the end. Pretty good for time, 5:45. That's it. I'm going to say laku noć. Start my Croatian goodbye now. It was lovely to prepare for this episode, my first one in 2025. I will see you in a few weeks in February. If you have any questions for me, please send them in a DM. If you have any questions in general about living in Croatia, coming to Croatia, about culture, about cost of living, I don't care, anything at all. Shoot us a DM, send us that question. We'll put it in our roster. Sometimes things involve researching. We've got a great team and we're ready to research those things for you and give you an answer. And trust me, if you're thinking about it, somebody else is thinking about it. And that's why this series is so popular, because it's questions that we all have. So thank you for being here with me. I wish you all an incredible 2025. I hope that you had a lovely break over the holidays, that your Christmas was filled with joy and love and loved ones. If you were missing loved ones at your table, I feel you. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, and Sretan petak, as Sarah would say. Ciao.